Hello and welcome back to Factorio PyBlock. We are in the middle of a mushroom plantation. Between episodes, excuse me, I've got a frog in the throat. Between episodes we have been doing some building. There you are. We have a few more mushroom machines than we started with. This is the grand total of 40. And we should probably actually check some rates. So if I grab the whole of this. Okay, so let's have a look. Bring this to the center. So we are producing almost no iron and some ash. Then we are, we're actually in negative for spores, which means we have too many of these machines for the amount of spores we're making. Fair enough. We are very slightly under on mushrooms for what we are trying to do. So we need 45 plantations to support this build. So I guess what we... Normally in Factorio at this point I would say let's double it. And that would be the plan, right? You have a thing, it's not quite big enough, you double it. And I'm not sure how wise that is today. The other thing is, this is quite an expensive build on iron, for the cost of iron. And the reason is we have this looping belt. So I think we could halve the cost if we didn't have a belt loop, if we just had a belt going in one direction. At least we'd halve the cost of the belt. So I'm wondering if we can redesign this to be within ratio. So let's double check that. I think if we lose 4 of the fungus machines, yeah, if we lose 4 fungus machines, that is about right. And then if we shift everything up to use a single belt. Okay, so how can we go about doing this? Right. Let's take this away. We are going to switch this to just use this one belt. Okay, then we are going to change these to drop on the near side. There has to be a quicker way to do this. We'll probably get one of these wrong and then there'll be some things... okay, so this is in the wrong place anyway, so let's take those out. There we are. Alright, and then these are in the wrong place. And I guess I can decide at this point how I want things laid out, because I'm going to be losing 4 of these things anyway. And I guess I can choose where I lose them from. So I could lose these 2. And I can move my spore maker. Where's my spore maker gone? Spore collector. That's a tank. Spore collector. Okay, so I can move my spore collector onto the end here. Okay, that's going to be better for the landfill if I lose 2. And then we'll do something up this end. Okay, so if I lose the second pair here. Okay, then the spore collector we can put like this. Okay, let's make a bit of room. And I really want it to output like that. Okay, then these things, do I want them to finish their craft? No, I don't think I'm going to bother. Okay, so let's take all of this and we are going to shift it down. Okay, and then of course this doesn't quite fit, does it? Okay, let's try again. And this is exactly why I wanted early game bots. It would have just been so hideously painful to do this manually. Okay, and then I can throw away all these spores that I've collected. So now this is a linear build that goes from one end to the other. Okay, and it should be closer to ratio. Let's double check. Yeah, that is closer to ratio. Okay. So then we can pick up all this junk. Good. And then I guess we should double it, because that is the name of the game, isn't it? You've made a thing, you want to double a thing. So I'm going to take a blueprint of that with tiles. Okay, that's not going to work because are we missing? Yeah, we're missing a tile at the top. Let's try again. So let's take that with tiles. Okay, that's a blueprint, isn't it? So let's create that, put that down here. So if I wanted a second one of these here, and we're back from making all the landfill. It's taken this long. You'll notice there's a couple of things that have changed. I put down a third smelter because two of them weren't getting through quite all of the mushrooms. Yeah, and that's pretty much the only major thing I've done. I put down some landfill, so these are the first 4 of the new mushroom makers. And then if we go all the way to the other end, you can see we've put down almost all the landfill. Here we are. And this is the next bit I want to build. Is that, yeah, that is lined up. There. Good. And have I got one of these machines? So they're really expensive. I only have 98 iron plate, and that is not enough to make another one of those spore machines. So that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? All I can do at the moment is kickstart these manually, like that. And it should have been these ones I kickstarted, shouldn't it? Let's try that again. We'll get there. That's it. So these should start making, and at least we'll check that, you know, they're on the right side of the belt and things like that. So what I need to achieve now is enough iron to make another spore collector, and for that I need 142 pieces of iron, and I currently have 105. So I will be back after I've done some resource collection. Okay, hopefully we now have enough iron for our second spore collector. So this will take a moment to craft. In the meantime, let's grab up some of these resources and see if we can... Oh, inventory full. And see if we can make some more landfill. It's going to be a constant thing of making more landfill. I do not need that much stone on me. Okay. Yeah, so let's wander up this end. So this is going to give us more spores, which means we can make more iron, which hopefully means that our iron-based economy will improve. Let's have a look at the text while this happens. So I'm not in multiplayer, so the game pauses when I'm in here. Okay, so far we have done 0 techs. The first tech we can do is called ash separation. This allows us to take soot and turn it into iron ore, copper, ash, a bunch of other things. Okay, so, and I'm guessing we have a recipe to make soot from something. So this looks like the earliest possible way to make copper ore. We're going to need copper. Okay, then we have automation, which, you know, is wonderful and all, but the game is so slow at the moment that there is no issue with handcrafting everything. We are entirely resource limited. Okay, coal processing. This looks interesting. So this gives us coke, a gas, the ability to make gas and tailing ponds, the ability to turn iron oxide into iron plate. Okay. I think there are various processes where they dump out iron oxide as a side product. Limestone. High pressure furnace. That sounds fun, doesn't it? I like the idea of a high pressure furnace. Absolutely no idea what this does. Destructive distillation column. Yep, again. Oh, something that turns coal into iron oxide, coke, coal gas and tar. And something that turns coke into ash, coal gas and tar. Something that turns raw coal into iron oxide, coal gas and tar. Okay. So these all look like interesting things. Glass technology gives us automated screener. Looks like an intermediate. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that is. Quartz ore. Okay. Glassworks, molten glass, and glass. That looks like a fun thing to look at. Guns we're not interested in. Seaweed. Okay, so this allows us to make seaweed, which is great, but we're in the middle of an ocean. And yeah, seaweed is not going to be our initial issue. We can just go out and harvest more if we need it. Soil washing. Okay, so this washes... This is a soil washer. This is something that turns water into muddy sludge. Okay, there must be something that muddy sludge is useful for later on, because we've got a lot of muddy sludge being made early in the game. Walls, and then this, native flora. Okay, so something that makes native flora, which I'm assuming we are then going to need for stuff. Then we have all these things which we can't do, moss, botany, and so on. All right, so it looks like this ash separation is the one we need to aim for. It is both the first in the list, which is a bit of a hint, isn't it? And also it's the one that allows us to get copper. So I'm going to start the research, but obviously we haven't done any of the things necessary, including we haven't made a research center. Where was that? Here. Okay, that only requires 28 iron. That's pretty achievable. So we might have a go at that. In fact, we might have a go at that today. Okay, so this is still handcrafting. I am really looking forward to the day when we get a bot mal or something similar. Okay, we have our first spores coming down this. So let's run down here. Good. So this will now start automating. How many plates do we have? 23. That is not enough for a research station. And I've just done the same thing where I grabbed the stone. Okay. Now, I remember a lot of our buildings needing stone bricks as an input, so I think we are now rich enough in various things to be able to... Have I just pooped? No, I'm alright. So, yeah, I think we're rich enough to be able to make some stone furnaces and smelt some stone brick. There we go. And, yeah, we're backed up on raw coal. We are inserter limited on this build, so we are going to need a new coal build at some point, but that point is not today. Okay, so let's sling some stone in there. So that should give us 100 stone brick. And then I can do two things now. I can either work towards the research server, or I can build out this second line of mushrooms. I think for the sake of content, I am going to do the research server. Okay, so we need 28 iron. Good. And are these actually running? No, they're low on mushrooms. Okay, so we can feed these in straight away, I think. Let's start off by grabbing that. Okay, let's just shove those in. So we should really route this over. And the difficulty here is that we do not have... Okay, we do not yet have words. I need words. That's what we don't have. And I've just used up all the iron we saved up for our research server. Ah, good grief. Yeah, we do not have splitters. So that complicates things. So we have to do everything with inserters. So I need a filtered mushroom inserter. Okay, does that give us some brick? Yeah, we've got a bit of brick. That's good. I'm not rich enough yet to do things like pave the world. That seems like a bit of a profligacy at the moment. Okay, we are actually ready to grab stone. There we go. Alright, so that's putting an extra inserter's worth of mushrooms over. And I think that covers everything we can manufacture currently. But it is more mushrooms, right? Which means more iron, which means more happy smiley faces. Okay, and we are going to speed up the game and just wait for it to do the thing. I hope that the recording software and the screenshotting survives changing the game speed like this. It would be rather embarrassing if it didn't. I just have to assume it does. Let's do a bit more, because I think we're going to need a tiny bit of infrastructure around the server. We'll wait a little bit more. I'm going to grab this soil and this sand and make some more landfill as well. Okay, back to one-time game speed. So, research server. Craft one of those. And we are perilously low on copper now, so we are going to have to beeline towards that gas separation tech, which allowed us to deal with copper. All right. These are probably all in the way. Let's move them over here. And I'm thinking that it might be time to spend some landfill just tidying this area up so we've got some room to work. There we go. So the research server is going to consume these things, these automation science packs. So let's craft a couple of those, and these are really, they seem really expensive. It's just that they use a lot of different materials. Okay. They use ash, soil, seaweed, a little bit of copper, iron, and stone brick. So that's fine. I've crafted 2 of them. Let's take our research lab. Alright, so it's a tall, awkward shape building. Okay, that means wherever I put it, it's going to be in the way. So I think this is probably a sensible in the way place for it. It needs power. And let's sacrifice a couple of those to open up a slot. Okay. So we are researching. I'm pretty pleased with that. So we need to make 20 of these. We've made 2. And we don't have the planter pot, and we don't have the small parts, and this is entirely down to iron. Okay. And we're now being hurt by our lack of power. I don't know what I can do other than manually force fuel in. I guess I could box feed. It's an abuse of iron, but we're going to go with it. Do I really want to burn a piece of wood on a box? I do not. Okay, what's the other option? I don't have any other containers that I can make, and this uses 8 iron plate, which seems like just a lot. Okay, we're going to harvest that box for now. I never thought I would be in a non-speedrun game. I never thought that I would be worried about 8 iron plates for one box. I just didn't think that would be a thing. Yeah, so there we are. This is PyBlock, where we count individual plates. Alright, so can we make any more of these packs? We can. So I need to just inch my way towards 20 packs, and that will get us over the line for this next tech. And then there'll be something else for us to do. So I'm going to get on with that. I'm going to bump up game speed, because this looks like a thing which is basically limited by our copper. Okay, I can make one more. I need to keep count. I'm going to put them on my bar so that I can see them. 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, and this is my life at the moment. Counting individual crafts. 10. It's like doing times tables with the kids. Okay, so we are counting roughly correctly because this has taken us up to 50% with 10, 11, 12. For those of you who are complaining in your head that I'm being a bit cheaty, we have had the best part of I don't know how many hours of gameplay so far. If I hadn't been doing fast forward, this series would not be happening. Okay. So I think we only have a couple of these left to make. Okay, I think it's just one more after these two, but I want to double check. Maybe I've got 3 left. Oh, I've got 3 left because I can't count. Okay. So there we are. These are the final packs. And I hope nobody has epilepsy, because it's that kind of flashing game, isn't it? Alright, back to sensible speed. I'm going to grab some of the sand and make some more landfill, because making landfill is what happens in the background when nothing else is going on. You can see how careful I'm being with inventory. I have a single inserter and a single transport belt at the moment. XS. Okay, so we are still pretty much neutral for mushrooms. You can see we've got enough to run these 3 iron ore makers, but it's not backing up. Okay, this belt is not backing up, so we are right on the edge of what's going to work. Okay, so we have done ash separation, and we can either do coal processing, glass technologies, seaweed, soil washing, or the placeholder tech. And I think we should be like goal oriented about this. So rather than just choosing the next tech, we should have a think about what the next tech would give us. Okay, so if we go back here, logs are an issue. Now, I did notice if we go up on the map, if we zoom out, you can see an island there. So we do have some trees that we can get. which are ultra cheaty construction log bot things can go get. Okay, so they've got another 30 logs, another 20 logs by harvesting that island, but I don't know how sustainable that's going to be. So we should probably work towards being able to make logs. Let's have a look in the recipe book. Log. Okay, so the log is the product of these recipes. And this recipe is wood processing. We need tree seedlings. The wood processing is just an automation science pack science. And it lets us make moss. Sorry, we need moss, steel, and botany. So wood processing. So let's have a look. Wood processing. This is where we want to get to. That is pretty horrific. Okay, so these are the techs we need to get through so that we are self-sustaining for wood. So I guess this is just what we are going to work towards. In the meantime, we unlocked a thing, so we should have a look at it. So we've got this recipe here, which turns soot into iron ore, copper ore, ash, aluminium, zinc, lead, and nickel. And this turns soot into copper. So that's soot into everything. That is soot into copper. And then how do we make soot? Ash into soot, ash separation. And this happens in a solid separator Mark 1. Okay. Solid separator Mark 1 requires 209 iron plate. So we have a choice now. We can either save up all our iron to do soot separation, or we can use our iron to double our mushroom production, and then it'll be really quick to make the iron to make the soot. And I have just shy of 200 copper plate. I just want to check these things here, these mushroom farms. They take 4 copper. Now I need to make another 30 or 40 of these. 4 copper, that's going to take me above, that will take me beyond what I have in my inventory, so I would end up deadlocking on copper. So we actually need to set up the copper process now, which means I need to scrounge 200 iron plates. And there's just no other way to do it other than spending the time, I guess. So we're going to do that. We are going to just let the game run, and we are going to accrue resources. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep crafting the things. And yeah, it's not like at the moment I can speed anything up. These are running at their speed. So I don't know if I can I do a 4th of these? You see that the mushrooms aren't really backing up. Maybe they are. Maybe they are backing up. Maybe I can make a 4th one. Atomizer Mark 0. So let's go back to normal time. So the Atomizer Mark 0 is only about 20 plate, isn't it? Yeah. But then there's an arms cost to driving it. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4 arms. I have 4 arms now. Okay, so let's extend this out. And then there'll be an issue with belts. So let's cut all this. Okay. I need some landfill. We're now slightly landfill richer. I hesitate to say landfill rich. I won't feel that we are landfill rich until we have fully automated landfill. Cut that away. Copy that. Okay. It is upset, don't worry. It's just the way the game gets sometimes. Okay, and how are we doing? We are still short for arms. I think I forgot to count this arm at the top. I think I counted all the arms at the bottom and none of the arms at the top. And we need another furnace. Okay. So that's good. That's increased that production. And of course the cost of that is that we now need a longer belt. Here. I'm wondering if I just give up on the idea of belting this. And just box feed. Yeah, I think I'm just going to box feed this for now. Because I can't afford the belt, basically. Okay. And how are we doing here? These are full of ash. Interesting. Okay, so I kind of need to automate emptying the ash from these machines. That will just be a thing that happens periodically, I guess. Let's have a look on this one. Yeah, and you can see my inventory is filling up with ash. So, what was the machine we needed to make? It was... I can't remember the name of it. It was the machine that does this. So, solid separator Mark 1. It is this. Okay, so this is the one. So I just need 200 and odd plate. And for that, I need somewhere to put all the ash I've been collecting. I wish they started you off with a warehouse. A warehouse at the beginning of the game would have been really useful. Maybe I will have to make a box. That hurts me. Okay, and we need to just get rid of some inventory. So let's put that in there. Okay, now I've got a box. I can put the ash in the box. Good. I can make some more of that. I can set these going. And I think we are closer towards happiness. Yes, indeed we are. Good, so this is now running. This seems to be fine, actually. So in this episode, between the end of the last one and the beginning of this one, we have doubled our iron production. Right, and I really want to make one of these before today ends. So, let's see if that is possible. Again, yeah, this is now running... You can see it's not backing up anymore, is it? We're definitely consuming this at a more useful rate. Oh, okay, and our balance of fuel has changed. So we're now consuming this fuel. Are we consuming it faster than we use it? No, it will back up. It's going to take a very long time. Okay, so we may need to make a second fuel maker. They were really cheap though, weren't they? What are these things called? Crude destructive distillation column. That's probably under... No, it's not. Steam power, blah, crude destructive distillation column. Okay. We can't have a lack of power. That's just not... That's not an option. Okay. So we're going to make another one of these. Let's put the time back down. Okay. So this needs to be fed mushrooms. And do I actually want to put the fuel out on the belt? No, I really don't. I want this arrangement here. With an iron box. Yeah. And this needs fuel itself, so we need this loop. And 2 more arms. And then I need to prime it. There we go. So then I'm going to uncap this I think we can just make as much fuel as we can make. And this is going to be the fuel for here. So these need to move. And actually, this whole contraption, we could move it here. We can take this, and can we flip the other flip? Okay, there we are. So that should automate the power for our boiler. Let's add one more arm there because I want to make sure this gets dumped out. And I quite like this. Okay, I'm going to... Do I want to cap this box? No, it'll fill up with ash and then we'll be in trouble again. However, I can dump the excess in there. That's a nice fix, isn't it? Okay. So I have used up all the iron we saved. Saving up to make one of these with the 209 iron plate it requires. But I think we are getting towards being more sustainable. That needs a filter. Good. And what's the issue here? It doesn't get enough mushrooms. Okay, we're at the scaling up the mushroom plantation stage. I wasn't going to, but we just need to keep this thing running well enough that we can then save. Okay, so I need to make 2 more of these. I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4 arms. I can currently make 3. And there is a 4th arm. Yep. So that should improve this situation a little bit. You can see now that we're powering our boiler, we're just not getting... I don't think I want to... Yeah, no, I have to have a box here because... Yeah, we have to deal with the ash. Okay. This is where I wish I'd installed a pickers mod. Yeah, that was just a mistake. I should not have picked that up. Right, so let's put the ash back there. What I should have done is installed a pick mod. Let's see if I can make one last arm, and then I think we are ready to start saving. Yeah, so I want this to just take out ash. Okay, I have some of the mushrooms in my inventory, which I think we're going to have to use up. I wanted to keep them, really, for when we're building out the other mushroom plantation, but better to use them now than to hold them and just, you know, have them stack up. So you can see we're now very much in mushroom deficit. All it took was this machine here to do it. So this is how on an edge we are. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay, that's our final arm. So when this goes down, I can set this to be ash. I don't even know where ash is. There. And whitelist. Good. So that's only going to take the ash out the box. Good. That should do the job for us. Right. That's it. So, now that everything should be working, I'm still in 2 minds about whether I build out the production or I get the next machine. Let's make my mind up for me. So, to make the next pair of these, Are we okay for mushrooms, is the question. And the answer is probably yes. We seem to be. Let's see. If one of these goes off, then I'm going to put down another mushroom machine. We are pretty close to the edge, actually. I think I'm going to make another pair of mushroom machines. Okay, so for that I need 1, 2, then I need 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the mushroom machines done. Once they start crafting, we should be, again, in a net positive for mushrooms. You can see we're right on the edge with keeping this boiler running. This is not getting enough mushrooms to work. I could put down a second arm there, which will cost us. Okay, another pair of mushrooms. I'm doing exactly what I said I wouldn't do. But I think there's just no way around it. We have to have more iron production to sustain everything else. Okay. One. Okay, so I need a few of these. I need another 4 burner inserters. One, 2. So what's my plan for this playthrough? Well, you can see how slowly the pace is. There's just no way to get through this as a quick game. So what I'm going to be doing is mixing up how I record. So there'll be a lot of things happening off screen. This kind of scaling is not going to be while you watch. So I'm going to pretty much come in and only show you as exciting things happen most of the time. So, for example, this process where I'm scaling up the mushrooms, I'm going to end up doing this sort of thing off screen, and then I'm going to end up doing things like building the brand new building while you watch, because I think that's, since we're not doing a streaming playthrough, I think that is our option. Alright, can make 2 more of these. I need another 3 arms. I'm just trying to get to the point where we are reliably keeping all 4 of these smelters running. Because if we're not running all 4 of them, then our factory is not sustainable. And everything about this mod so far is about keeping the factory sustainable. You can see this machine on the end isn't running. Yeah, it's running intermittently. Okay. Let's go back to a slower, fast speed. We seem to have some spores on the end of that. Okay. This, yeah, it's still not getting the spores that needs to run. These are not getting the spores they need to run. Okay, let's do another one. And I'm going to stick the copper on the bar because I'm starting to get worried about us running low on copper. And then we're going to look at some production charts. Yeah, see, this does not have mushrooms. And I can put some in, but that's a short-term goal, short-term fix, because I need to... get that built. Okay, so we are short on soil. Good, okay, so that's something we can fix. Okay. Let's take those away for a minute. I just need to allow this machine to build up some soil. Okay. Landfill, can we make any? Yes, we can. I think we're good for landfill at the moment, actually. Okay. So we're just going to collect some soil in a box. Yeah. So these are all running. These are still not always running. Okay. And on and on and on we go. This is missing soil. I'm going to put soil down on my bar so that I can keep a count. So I need another 200 soil. And we're going to just dump this in here. Hopefully this will keep our soil production happy for a while. Good. And this I'm going to cap because I think this is consuming mushrooms which could go into making iron. Okay. Okay, and we're short 50 soil. There we are. So that's the next two of these. And then we need 4 arms. It's worth crafting them just to get them going. And I guess we're too far away now for the bots to notice there's a build queued up. And there we are. So these should now be running. So we have expanded this out by 16 machines. Which is pretty good, isn't it? And is this now backed up? Yes, it is. Okay, so this is where I'm just going to wait until we have 200 iron plate. Cue music. Right, we're back. I have enough iron plate now, and everything seems to be running constantly. So I just need to make this thing that requires 175 copper, of which I have 79, and no way to make more copper. I am how far into the game? 11 hours, 39 minutes and 35 seconds into this playthrough, and I have deadlocked it by not keeping around enough copper. Right. I'm not restarting the game. This is not happening. So I'm going to cheat. So, what I should have done, apparently, was not build out extra mushroom makers, because each of these requires a bit of copper. I should have just waited an extra 5 or 10 hours for the iron to make. Right. So, let's try... Game.player... right, what's the insert command? Insert. Copper plate. 100. I'll lose achievements. Rude words. Right. I now have 179 copper. Damn it, I worked so hard to make that iron. And then the game killed me. I just... I'm exasperated. I don't normally cheat. But there is no way I'm doing 12 hours again to get to this point. To find myself deadlocked by something else. I don't know. Write in the comments how you feel about it, but I'm disappointed with myself, and not in a good way. But there's just no way I am redoing the game to get to this point with the surplus of copper. I can't. Okay, so that's going to craft in the background. It's going to take a while, apparently. Let's speed it up. What else do we need to do other than cry? Lots of crying. Okay. Alright, so here's our soil separator. Let's set the recipe. So the recipe we need is copper, but that requires soot. So the recipe we need is soot. We feed it with ash. Okay, and I think I can have a box with soot in. Okay, so let's make an arm. Okay, and we're going to do this sideways arm thing like that. And we're going to load up all of our ash from all the places into this box. Okay, that looks like it's possibly a bad choice because then there's no stack for anything else. Alright, so this is making soot, iron oxide and coal dust. This all looks like stuff which will be useful. I can't afford to make a second machine. So this will take the length of time it takes to run, I guess. It looks like the arm is not fast enough for the job it's been given. Alright. And then, if we change the recipe to copper, this then turns the soot. This says it has no power. Okay. Oh, it's an electric powered building, so we are just low on power. I can put some excess raw coal in there to see if that helps. Okay, so this is running very slowly. And I can just move this power over, see if that helps. Yeah, so this is making copper ore, which then we can smelt. So let's try that. So this does work in principle. Okay, so it's going to need a fair amount of babysitting. Let's take that. double the rate at which we put things in, and then we'll do the same sort of thing. The thing is, I need the box to be both an in and out box. Okay, let's take that away. I'm just not quite sure the way to do this. All right, I'm going to leave it there. So we've had a disaster, and it's a disaster we cheated our way out of, and I'm not particularly proud of myself, but that's just the way it is. So I will see you again very soon. Hopefully things will be less disastrous next time we meet. Until then, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. Bye-bye.